नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपञ्चकम्। ॐ सुमुखाय नमः। ॐ एकदन्ताय नमः। ॐ कपिलाय नमः। ॐ गजकर्णकाय नमः। ॐ लंबोदराय नमः। ॐ विघ्नराजाय नमः। ॐ विनायकाय नमः। ॐ धूमकेतवे नमः। ॐ गणाध्यक्षाय नमः। ॐ फालचंद्राय नमः। ॐ गजाननाय नमः। ॐ वक्रतुण्डाय नमः। ॐ शूर्पकर्णाय नमः। ॐ हेरम्भाय नमः। ॐ स्कंदपूर्वजाय नमः। ॐ श्री सिद्धिविनायक स्वामिने नमः। ॐ स्फटिकरजतवर्णं मौक्तिकीमक्षमालाम् अमृतकलशविद्यां ज्ञानमुद्रां कराग्रे ददतमुरुगकक्षं चन्द्रचूडं त्रिनेत्रं विद्युद्विबुधभूषं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे। ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं श्रियं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं श्रियं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। ॐ नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं श्रियं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। ॐ ओंकारसिंह सर्वेन्द्राय नमः। ॐ ओंकारोद्यानकोकिलाय नमः। ॐ ओंकारनीडशुकराजे नमः। ॐ ओंकाररण्यकुञ्जराय नमः। ॐ नगराजसुताजानये नमः। ॐ नगराजनिजालयाय नमः। ॐ नवमाणिक्यमालाढ्याय नमः। ॐ नवचन्द्रशिखामणये नमः। ॐ नन्दितशेषमौनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ नन्दीशादिमदेशिकाय नमः। ॐ मोहानलसुधासाराय नमः। ॐ मोहाम्बुजसुधाकराय नमः। ॐ मोहान्धकारतरणये नमः। ॐ मोहोत्पलनभोमनये नमः। ॐ भक्तज्ञानाब्धिशीतांशवे नमः। ॐ भक्तज्ञानतृणालयाय नमः। ॐ भक्ताम्बोजसहस्रांशवे नमः। ॐ भक्तकेकिघनाघनाय नमः। ॐ भक्तकैरवराकेन्दवे नमः। ॐ भक्तकोकदिवाकराय नमः। ॐ गजाननादिसम्पूज्याय नमः। ॐ गजचर्मोज्ज्वलाकृतये नमः। ॐ गंगाधवलदिव्यांगाय नमः। ॐ गंगापङ्किलसज्जटाय नमः। ॐ गगनाम्बरसंवीताय नमः। ॐ गगनामुक्तमूर्धजाय नमः। ॐ वदनाब्जजिताब्जश्रिये नमः। ॐ वदनेन्दुस्फुरितदिशाय नमः। ॐ वरदानैकनिपुणाय नमः। ॐ वनवीरोज्ज्वलत्कराय नमः। ॐ वनमाससमुल्लासाय नमः। ॐ वनवीरैकलोलुपाय नमः। ॐ तेजभुञ्जघनाकाराय नमः। ॐ तेजसामपि भासकाय नमः। ॐ विनेयानां तेजःप्रदाय नमः। ॐ तेजोमयनिजाश्रमाय नमः। ॐ दमितानङ्गसङ्ग्रामाय नमः। ॐ दरहासजिताङ्गनाय नमः। ॐ दयारससुधासिन्धवे नमः। ॐ दरिद्रधनसेवदये नमः। ॐ क्षीरेन्दुस्फटिकाकाराय नमः। ॐ क्षीरोन्द्रुमुकुटोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ क्षीरोपहाररसिकाय नमः। ॐ क्षिप्रैश्वर्यफलप्रदाय नमः। ॐ नानाभरणमुग्धाङ्गाय नमः। ॐ नारीसमोहनाकृतये नमः। ॐ नागब्रह्मरसास्वादिने नमः। ॐ नागभूषणभूषिताय नमः। ॐ मूर्तिनिन्दितकन्दर्पाय नमः। ॐ मूर्तामूर्तजगद्वपुषे नमः। ॐ मूलाज्ञानतमोभानवे नमः। ॐ मूर्तिमत्कल्पपादपाय नमः। ॐ तरुणादित्यसङ्काशाय नमः। ॐ तन्त्रीवादनतत्पराय नमः। ॐ तरुमूलैकनिलयाय नमः। ॐ तप्तजाम्बूनदप्रभाय नमः। ॐ तत्तुपुस्तोलसत्पाणये नमः। ॐ तपनोडुपलोचनाय नमः। ॐ यमसंयमसत्कीर्तये नमः। ॐ यमसंयमसंयुताय नमः। ॐ यतिरूपधराय मौनिने नमः। ॐ यतीन्द्रोपास्य विग्रहाय नमः। ॐ मन्दारहाररुचिराय नमः। ॐ मदनायुतसुन्दराय नमः। ॐ मन्दस्मितलसत्वक्त्राय नमः। ॐ मधुराधरपल्लवाय नमः। ॐ मञ्जीरमञ्जुपादाब्जाय नमः। ॐ मणिपट्टोलसत्कटये नमः। ॐ हस्ताङ्कुरितचिन्मुद्राय नमः। ॐ हठयोगपरोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ हंसजप्यक्षमालाढ्याय नमः। ॐ हंसेद्वाराध्यपादुकाय नमः। ॐ मेरुशृङ्गतटोल्लासाय नमः। ॐ मेघश्याममनोहराय नमः। ॐ मेधाङ्कुरालवालाग्र्याय नमः। ॐ मेधाफक्फलद्रुमाय नमः। ॐ धार्मिकान्तर्गुहावासाय नमः। ॐ धर्ममार्गप्रवर्तकाय नमः। ॐ धामत्रयनिजारामाय नमः। ॐ धर्मोत्तममनोरथाय नमः। ॐ प्रबोधोद्गारदीपश्रिये नमः। ॐ प्रकाशितजगत्र्याय नमः। ॐ प्रज्ञाचन्द्रशिलाचन्द्राय नमः। ॐ प्रज्ञामणिवराकराय नमः। ॐ ज्ञानान्तरभासात्मने नमः। ॐ ज्ञातृज्ञादिविदूरगाय नमः। ॐ ज्ञानज्ञाद्वैतदिव्यांगाय नमः। ॐ ज्ञातृकालिकुलागताय नमः। ॐ प्रपन्नपारिजाताग्र्याय नमः। ॐ प्रणतार्थब्धिवाडवाय नमः। ॐ भूतानां प्रमाणभूताय नमः। ॐ प्रपञ्चहितकारकाय नमः। ॐ यत्तत्त्वसि सम्प्रेत्याय नमः। ॐ यक्षगेयात्मवैभवाय नमः। ॐ यज्ञादिदेवतामूर्तये नमः। ॐ यजमानवपुर्धराय नमः। ॐ छत्राधिपतिविश्वेशाय नमः। ॐ सत्तसामरसेविताय नमः। ॐ छन्दशास्त्रादिनिपुणाय नमः। ॐ छलजात्यादिदूरगाय नमः। ॐ स्वाभाविकसुखैकात्मने नमः। ॐ स्वानुभूतिरसोदधये नमः। ॐ स्वाराज्यसम्पदध्यक्षाय नमः। ॐ स्वात्माराममहामतये नमः। ॐ हाटकाभजटाजूटाय नमः। ॐ हासोदस्तारिमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ हालाहलोज्ज्वलगलाय नमः। ॐ हार्दग्रन्थिविमोचकाय नमः। ॐ श्रीमेधादक्षिणामूर्तिस्वामिने नमः। ॐ श्रीदयानन्दसद्गुरुवे नमः। ॐ श्रीमहेशानन्दसद्गुरवे नमः। Okay, shall we do meditation? नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकालाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। I meditate upon Paramatma as my basis, my adhara. Paramatma which is the nature of being always there, without any change, without any uncertainty or doubt, without any requirements, any unfulfilled desires, complete, limitless, self-existing, and self-aware. The very source of joy, the very source of complete relaxation, this Paramatma is my basis, my adhara. Oftentimes in our Shastra, we hear the call of Parameshwara to give up your worries your anxieties, your sense of wantingness, and so on, and just resort to Parameshwara. This advice by the Shastra, often repeated in the Bhagavad Gita, that I am your Adhara. This advice by the Shastra should be taken in two steps. The first step is to take the help of Ishvara as an entity separate from you. Ishvara as the one who is in charge of the entire universe, and you, an individual here and now. So you can actually resort to giving yourself up to that Ishvara. This is step number one. But this is just an intermediate step. Step number two, which is the final step, is to give up your sense of limitation, your jivatvam, into your own Atma, Jivatma, which is none other than Paramatma. All the qualities of Paramatma, namely being always there, unchanging, reliable, complete, with no requirements, no unfulfilled desires, self-existing. And self-aware. This is your own nature. So in meditation, may I have the wisdom and the courage the trust to take the steps to give up the false notions of my smallness. May I meditate on the fact that a sense of Paramatma, the truth of said Paramatma, is not to be acquired, doesn't need to be acquired. All that needs to be done is to have the wisdom, the knowledge, and the courage to let go. I am clinging on to something. I am clinging on to my ahankara, my jivatvam, my sense of smallness. And if I cease to cling on to it, may I have the trust and the wisdom to let go. And if I do that, my adhara, my basis, is none other than Paramatma. In meditation, in nididhyasanam, may I fine-tune these baby steps in my active life. It is not easy to do, but I can take some baby steps in nididhyasanam. Learning to let go And as you make progress, the discovery of the fact that you are okay, you don't need anything. You are complete, will give you more courage, more trust. And this process will take you to your own real nature. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyoma Vadyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Dukarastvandakaro Vai Dukarastanivartakaha Andakara Nirodhitva Guru Vidya Vidhiyate Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Chant Karika verses 5 Karikas starting with number 20 to 24. Karika number 20. Prana iti pranavidaha. Prana iti pranavidaha.
Prana iti pranavidaha.
Bhutani iti cha tatvidaha.
Bhutani iti cha tatvidaha.
Guna iti gunavidaha.
Guna iti gunavidaha.
Tattvani iti cha tatvidaha.
Tattvani iti cha tatvidaha.
Pada iti padavidaha.
Pada iti padavidaha.
Vishaya iti tatvidaha.
Vishaya iti tatvidaha.
Loka iti lokavidaha.
Loka iti lokavidaha.
Deva iti cha tatvidaha.
Deva iti cha tatvidaha.
Veda iti vedavidaha.
Veda iti vedavidaha.
Yajna iti cha tatvidaha.
Yajna iti cha tatvidaha.
Bhokteti bhoktravidaha.
Bhogyeti cha bhoktruvidaha.
Bhojyamiti cha tadvidaha.
Bhojyamiti cha tadvidaha.
Sukshma iti sukshma vidaha.
Sukshma iti sukshma vidaha.
Sthula iti cha tadvidaha.
Sthula iti cha tadvidaha.
Murta iti murta vidaha.
Murta iti murta vidaha.
Amurta iti cha tadvidaha.
Amruta iti cha tadvidaha.
Kala iti kala vidaha.
Kala iti kala vidaha.
Disha iti cha tadvidaha.
Desha iti cha tadvidaha.
Vada iti vada vidaha.
Vada iti vada vidaha.
Bhuvanani iti tadvidaha.
Bhuvanani iti tadvidaha.
So what we are seeing in this part of the Karika by Sri Gaudapada Acharya ji is the attempts of the human beings to find something which appears to be truth and which appears to something that can give them a resort. As we saw in the meditation, that the ultimate resort is Paramatma. But so it's just that this is why the example of the rope and snake is so important, because in the example of the rope, if it is not seen as a rope, then you have various ideas on what it could be, based on God knows what, your experiences, your fears, your particular way of looking at it, etc., etc. All kinds of things can be done, that this is a garland, this is a hose, this is a streak of water, this is a snake, anything can be done. But none of them really can stand to inquiry if it is properly shown that it is really nothing but the rope itself. So similarly here also, the ideas that people have in their lives is all based on the fact that they're all searching for something to resort to. And as you know very well, the way the search is that the more you search, the less likely you're going to find it, because you are the searcher is the searched. Well, we give up the searcher as you're just always looking for something other than yourself. You've already rejected yourself. You rejected the wrong self. So anyway, so that being the case, people resort to lots of different ideas and belief systems. And we sympathize with them. We say, I know, but then please see that it doesn't work. So this whole list of belief systems are presented here by Gaudapada ji. And then starting with, we saw prana iti prana vidaha. And so this one means that there is, this is the most prevalent one really. And so this is the Hiranyagarbha view, that Hiranyagarbha is the basis for giving life. And through life, which is very active, the fact that you are alive. And so, and in fact, Swami Maheshananji points out that if you look at the modern religions, specifically Christianity and Islam, they all feel that some derivative, they don't call it Hiranyagarbha, but some derivative of something. In fact, Swami Maheshananji says that it's very much like God has sort of like, you blow your life into you. So this is kind of like a breath, and that breath goes into human beings. And so really God as the breath giver. So here it is different from this is what is called Tatastha Lakshanam. So incidental means that God is just kind enough to give breath to you. Anyway, so we went through this a little bit, I won't repeat it. So this is what is called prana iti prana vidaha. And then we saw bhutani, so particles, guna, etc., tattvani. Then pada iti padavidaha, vishaya iti tadvidaha. So here, let's start with this in a bit more detail. So pada iti padavidaha means that, and vishaya iti tadvidaha. So vishaya, let's start with vishaya. So vishaya means there are various subjects that you can do. And if you investigate, this is also the scientific view, that if you investigate various aspects of life, then you'll get to the truth. And see, this is the part that we should really understand. What we should understand is that the human endeavor is something which leads to the following. You appear to be solving the problem. So you go into a great deal of effort, aided by the fact that I'm getting somewhere. So when you talk about Vishaya, so the feeling is that if we can understand how people evolve, how the origin came in, how the moon was extracted from the earth. This is an investigative thinking. And if you talk to the scientists, they will say that, the more you investigate, the better you find out. And it's all, we are moving towards it. And the origin of particles and so on. So what our Shastra is saying, this is a trap. This is a trap. Why is it a trap? Because if you talk to these scientists, so-called scientists, or not so-called scientists and so on, who are much more informed than you and I, because they have gotten into the science of biology, zoology, astronomy, astrology, all of those kinds of things. They got a great deal of information on it, much more than you and I do. But if you investigate it and ask them, do you know everything about that needs to be done? And of course the answer is no, not everything. Not everything. In fact, the truth of the matter is that the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. And this is a very interesting thing. This is the guna, the quality of anatma. You can almost write down this as a premise. The premise is that anything which is anatma has the characteristic that the more you investigate, the more you realize that there is more to be done. Not complete. As opposed to just the opposite of that is the investigation into the Atma. And look at this. In the so the anatma, the investigation says that I know everything. I know everything that needs to be done. Then you find out, the more you get into the very essence of it, there are other things that are not known. So small amount of knowingness ends up in not knowing a huge amount. And Atma is just the opposite. Atma, in the beginning, you have no idea what it is. That I'm a conscious being is not known. We all know that, because we completely disparage it. Everybody is a conscious being. What is the big thing about conscious being? that I'm moving, I've got hands, and this is what really makes it. What consciousness? This is just incidental. We start with that. The more we investigate, we find that there is something very simple, something which is uncomplicated, something which is definitive, just the opposite of anatma. Swami Dayananda used to say that. He says, if you take a rose, flowered rose, and you ask a child, what is this? And the child will say, this is rose. Oh, but there's nothing more to be done. This is rose. The child is right also. But if you're a scientist, you will know more about it as to what the genealogy of the rose is. And it will say exactly what types of roses there are, the colors and so on. Then at the end you ask the scientist, who knows much more than the child, do you know how the particular, the smell of, the pleasant smell of the rose is brought? He says, that we don't know. That we don't know. And there's much more to be done. We haven't investigated it. We don't have the science which gives us all the answers, but we're looking into it. Anyway, what Vedanta says is, this is an important thing to see, that when you investigate anatma for a long period of time, it gives you the false feeling that I'm getting somewhere. I'm trying to analyze it and I'm going to get to this surface of it. At the very end, there is a big X factor which says, we don't know everything. Vedanta says, why are you wasting so much time? Why told you in the very beginning that you are not going to know everything? And furthermore, I'm telling you, this is the more important thing, you don't need to know everything. Because your feeling is that somehow if I can solve the mystery of the world, I would be okay. No, not true. Just by solving the mystery of the world, first of all, even that is not possible. But suppose you solve the mystery of the world, how does it affect you? This is what you have to investigate. And so the word, when we say Maya, is anirvachaniya. The anirvachaniyatvam is an important thing to see. It means it is never precisely definable. You'll never know it to the nth degree. Never. This is a very important thing that I think we as students of Vedanta must grasp. That it is a chase which is not leading anywhere. But people try. So the listing of what people try to do is all given in here. This is exactly what happens. So, Vishaya iti tadvidaha. And then, there's another, so the next one is Loka iti lokavidaha. So, Loka iti lokavidaha means that, listen, you are never going to find happiness by investigating Vishayas in this world. Actually, Swami Meshanji did a very good job. You can actually build a staircase because each succeeding vidaha or belief system is rejecting the old one and going into the next one. If we had more time, and if you do, if you have the Hindi book, you'll be able to see how it builds on each other. So, for example, in the Loka iti loka vidaha, which says that this pada iti pada vidaha and vishaya iti tadvidaha, you're never going to be able to find truth. The truth is going into a different setup altogether. You have to go to a different loka. Here you're never going to find it. Very beautiful analysis of that. But then if you go to loka, loka means different experiences, heaven, different forms of heaven, which actually are true. We also say that. Their heavens are there. Absolutely. And the heavens means that your way of living there is completely different. You don't take birth. You don't have a mother and father. You straight away go there as a young person. That's it. Just like in a dream. In a dream, you don't have time to take a birth. You just straight away enter the loka of the dream. The dream is also a loka. And so, loka iti loka vidaha. And there you have different experiences. And then there is an answer for each one of them, why this is not true. So there the biggest answer we have to think about, which is common to all of them, is it is not logical to say. So we ask, first of all, is the loka begun at a particular time? They said yes. If you do a lot of good things, punyas, etc., you go into a loka. And the lokas are all different from each other. There could be, there's Indians have our own heaven, Saketa, Vaikuntha. And then the Muslims have Bahishta, and the Christians have their own heaven. So first of all, we're not sure. Should everything all be one? They say, yeah, but you believe in us. We am telling you, this was all given by Muhammad. It was revealed to Christ, and this is it. There's nothing else that you need to do. So this is a belief system. So Swami Dayananji says that beliefs are of one of two types. One is non-verifiable belief, and the other one is verifiable belief. And one should resort to verifiable belief. Verifiable belief is what is called Shraddha. So Shraddha means that I don't understand the atomic theory now, but if I study it, it is true. So it is a belief. Every student goes into advanced physics with a belief. I don't know. You say, what do you know about advanced physics? I don't know anything yet. So why are you pursuing it? Because if I study it, I will find it. So Vedanta says, listen, you may not understand Atma now, but you should believe in it, thinking that at one time the belief will turn into an actual experience. Whereas something which is non-verifiable. So the lokas are all non-verifiable beliefs. And so another thing we say is, that anything that begins cannot be endless. Cannot be endless. The only thing that will happen is that it is endless even now, but you don't think it is endless. That is okay. You are infinite, you don't know it, but if you remove your ignorance about your infinity, you will so-called quote-unquote become infinite. But you cannot become infinite by adding numbers. You begin to add numbers. You'll never get infinity. That is against mathematics. Large number is not infinity. It is a large number, but it's still finite. So, loka also means it's a beginning. I was not there before, but now I'm there and I'm going to stay there forever. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. Because all karmas are finite and all karma phalas are also finite. It will not work. And another very interesting thing to see, this is a very common logic. In fact, the Pauranika systems, Vaishnavas and Shaivas, they believe in this. They say, wait a second. You say you are already the Atma, which is infinite and so on. So we say, yes, that's true. They say this doesn't make any sense. I'll tell you, they say why it doesn't make any sense. It is like you want to have sweetness. Yes, it's kind of like sweetness in the sense that infinity is it's very beautiful, very nice. Like dessert. Everybody loves dessert. So they say, if you're already dessert, what enjoyment is there? What you need to do is to taste dessert. Then you have enjoyment. If you are sugar crystal already, there's no sense in that. So if you are Atma, what are you talking about Atma? You need to have the experience of infinity. And then we go back to the original form saying, no, you cannot have the experience of infinity. You can say that I didn't realize that I was infinity, now I do. That's a different thing. But a new starting of experiencing doesn't occur. Anyway, so this is how the dialogues go. I'm just giving you a quick summary of that. Then, in 22, the person says, it is not the lokas that really matter. It means, no, I'm sorry, wait a second. Just at the end of 21. Yeah, I've skipped a step. It is not the lokas that matter. It means who in the loka you believe in. What is the deva? So there are stories in Puranas that you can, in the Vishnu Loka, you get a chance to sit next to Vishnu, very close by. Vishnu means full of happiness, protection, and you are in the hall where the Vishnu is there, and of course you are protected. You've entered the inner sanctum of Vishnu. Okay? So that is the important one. Who do you believe in? So Swami Dayanand used to say, look at this. He says that imagine the problems on going into Vishnu Loka. So one problem is that how long are you going to stay there? Aren't you going to get hungry? Then you have to leave. Vishnu will say, okay, we'll see you tomorrow, but for now, please go home. Okay, that's one problem. That means you're not with Vishnu all the time. You have the promise of being. Another one is that you may be sitting in the back row, and there are people sitting in the front row. And immediately your thoughts go, how did these people get to the front row? Why can't I do that? So you ask somebody, can I go to the front row? They say, no. This is reserved for people that have a lot of punyas. And you are a good person, but you haven't really done everything. You remember that fairy story I told you that Swami Dayanandji that gave, that there was this guy who said that if you teach Gita all the time and you are very sincere, whether somebody comes or not, you are definitely going to go to Vaikuntha. So this fellow did that, and he woke up one day and he's in Vaikuntha. And there's a beautiful house with servants and beautiful helicopter. And you're saying, wow, this is so wonderful. Then you find that the guy next door has even a larger house, bigger helicopter, more servants, and all kinds of things. So he says, how did he get here? And so he started to inquire. You find out that this fellow was an old tough guy who used to drive this motorcycle, rickshaw from old Delhi station, which was supposed to take 6 people, but he had 20 people there. And he would be driving crazy all over this, because he's got to make a lot of money, so he doesn't wait for red light or anything, green light, he just goes through the red light and somehow just makes it, comes back and then gets the next one. So this is the fellow next door who has got a bigger house and a bigger helicopter and all that. So he says, oh my God, what the heck? This is not right. So he went to Indra. And Indra says, I have a complaint. Swamiji, Dayanandji gave us the story. So Indra said, I was expecting you. I know this was this. So he says, tell me, why was it? He says, my teacher is Brihaspati. And Brihaspati had said, listen, here are the rules. The person that converts the maximum number of people towards the belief in God gets the bigger houses. And he says, you've converted about 4 or 5 people, which is a good, you did a good job. But you look at this old guy who was driving this patia. He says, every time he takes somebody, people will say, oh God, thank goodness you saved us. I thought I was going to die. And he says, I count 12,340 people who have been converted. He says, what am I supposed to do? This is the way it is. So Deva iti tadvidaha means that you have a certain belief in the Devas. They cannot do anything else. Anyway, so this doesn't work. Besides, anytime you start something, it's going to end. So our idea of the heaven is that it's also temporary. You'll have fun, but it will be temporary. This is not the final truth. Then comes number 22, which is what we did last time, Veda iti Veda Vidaha. So there are people who say that the Ishvara has composed the Vedas and gone to sleep. He's not involved in the daily who should we go to heaven, this or the other. The rules of the Vedas will give you heaven. The rules of the Vedas are, you have to learn chanting with swaras. And you have to chant accurately. If you do that, the Vedic laws will carry you. Ishvara has nothing to do with it. He's not in the picture anymore. He's already automated the whole thing. And so forget about doing this, that or the other. You just learn to chant. This is the basis of the Veda iti Veda Vidaha. So there, again, Swami Maheshananji points out that there are defects. There are defects. Even if you say this happens, there's a defect. What is the defect? One is paradhinata. Paradhinata means you are dependent on it. Dependent on it. That means if you chant well, you may be ahead of the game. If you don't chant well, then you have defects and you do not get to where it needs to be. The other defect is we find people who don't know any chanting, they're sometimes doing better than the people who are doing chanting. So where is this rule that if it was all so regular that everybody would learn Vedic chanting, Rudram with exactly the same swara, and then you will see these are the people who are doing better than others. But that doesn't happen. 99.9% don't even know what Rudra is. How can you do that? That's not true at all. So then The next person stands up and he says, no, no, no. It is not the Vedic chanting. It is the spirit of yajna. Yajna iti cha tadvidaha. You have to do yajna. Yajna means there are three things involved in yajna, as you know. So one is called dravya, one is devata, and the third one is tyaga. This is what yajna is all consisting of. So there are different kinds of yajnas. So there is japa yajna, and then there is pranayama yajna, then there is abhisheka yajna, and there is havana yajna. So let's take japa yajna. Japa yajna means Om Namah Shivaya is a japa yajna, chanting Om Namah Shivaya. So here the dravya is the actual chant, Om Namah Shivaya. The devata is Shiva. And the yajna, tyaga, represents the fact that I am giving up my, and this is true, I am giving up my local existence into a bigger existence, just like we did in meditation. This is the tyaga, that I give up my sense of smallness and I want to achieve you. So this is the yajna. So they argue, people who are yajna vidaha, it's not the Vedas, but the how you do the yajna and what kind of yajna you do. So this is called japa yajna. Then you have pranayama yajna. So in pranayama yajna, you give your breath and you regulate it with the devata in mind all the time. And so this is pranayama yajna. Then you have abhisheka yajna, where you take Shivalinga or Shaligrama and you pour water over it. So this whole yajna is so that I propitiate this devata by doing the yajna. And then in the Karma Kanda, the Havana Yajna is the one which is done all the time. When I grew up in my Amritsar, so my grandfather used to do Havans all the time. And so all the chants from the Vedas were done. And so there, it's interesting, we had no Devata Murtis in the home. And no pictures of Krishna. Gita was studied. From what I recall, I was a young person. I didn't have much interest in it. My grandfather was very frustrated. He would sit down and he says, "Don't you want to learn this?" And I said, later, not yet. And I remember the last conversation I had with my Nanaji, he was my mother's father, was the year 1963, the year before I came to the US. So what happened was that I had decided I'm going to give up this career and I'm going to move to the US. And everybody was so upset. My parents were upset, my sister was upset. Why are you doing this? Then my grandfather was brought into the picture. And I remember we closed the door. He says, "I want to have a conversation with you." So he said, I still remember this so well. I guess I was 22 at that time. So he says, "Why are you going?" So like a foolish person, I said, Nanaji, I want to see new places. It's some different places and so on. So he says, this is foolish. If you analyze, all places fundamentally are the same. There's no big difference. So I said, no, I don't get that, because New Delhi is like this and then New York is something else. This is completely different. He says, but fundamentally it's the people, the same roads, and so there are some differences and so on. Don't you see there is a sameness in the whole? I remember this conversation, and I said, you can say anything you want to, I am going. This poor guy tried his best to convince me. And then a year or so when I was in the US, he passed away. And so in our house, when I was growing up in Amritsar, there were no vigrahas. No murtis, no pictures, no nothing. But there was Havan Yajna being done all the time. So beautiful. I remember the smell of it and so on. And he said, this is the Yajna iti tad vidaha. So here, the questions we asked is, wait a second. There are 3 parts to the yajna. He said, yes, dravya, devata, and tyaga. Are 3 of them together the truth, or are they individually the truth? If they are individually the truth, you don't need the other one. If they are mutually dependent, that means they are vulnerable to be separated. These are some fundamental questions that we asked. So we need to find truth that can never be separated. There is no togetherness in it. This has no parts to it. This is the truth that we are seeking. And so the yajnas, we don't disparage yajna as a sadhana. That is okay. But as the ultimate truth, how is it the ultimate truth? Because it is made up of parts. And it made up of dependencies, how well you do it. We say no, this is not acceptable. Okay, so yajnati chadvidaha. Then next one says, you are right, none of them is the truth. Bhokta iti cha tad bhoktra vidaha. So this is the Sankhya view. This is the Sankhya view. Sankhya say, let us analyze this. All these things that you do, who is it meant for? It is meant for a person who should enjoy truth, prosperity. Isn't it? So that makes sense, yes. Why are you doing all these kinds of things? Vedas and this, that, or the other, even going to different lokas and so on. Really, you are the one that actually matters. So really, you are the bhokta. You are the enjoyer. Bhokta means an enjoyer. And you should really, you are the truth. You are the truth. So then we say, wait a second. How are we going to enjoy? Should I not enjoy based on if I deserve it? Like for instance, supposing I murder somebody, I kill a human being. Do I have the right to enjoy? Because I have now killed someone else. So there we say that a karta must be a bhokta. There has to be a connection between them. The Sankhyas don't believe in karta. They don't believe in karta. They say no, Atma is not a karta. Karta is done by some other entities and so on. You are just the bhokta. He said, no, doesn't make any sense, because let's look at this way. If the kartritvam and bhoktritvam are not logically related, that means you can have a bhokta without, as I said, you can murder someone. This is not very logical at all. Lots of different arguments. I won't go into this. Then bhojyam iti cha tadvidaha. Bhojyam means what the object that you enjoy is the main one. This is the most nikrishta, which is not really good. That means that you need to have good objects. You need to have ice cream. Bhojya means what you enjoy, what it is that you enjoy. And there are so many things that give you some enjoyment. How are we going to rate them? This does not. And then another thing is that there is no logic to the fact that whatever you enjoy will stay. The nature of enjoyment is that it comes and goes. No, absolutely not. So we are done with number 22. Then sukshma iti sukshma vidaha and sthura iti tadvidaha. Murta iti murta vidaha, amurta iti tadvidaha. So I'm just going to go quickly here, but you get the sense of it. Sukshma, people who believe sukshma say that Atma by itself is not the truth. It is an Atma plus Upadhi. So Upadhi is the Sukshma Sharira. That is the truth. And furthermore, why it is the truth is that you also believe, as we do, that Sukshma Sharira is not touched by death. Sukshma Sharira can exist without the body. And so therefore there must be some truth in it. That is the truth. So we say that doesn't make any sense because several reasons. One is the Sukshma Sharira itself consists of various objects. There are 17 parts to it. So you have, you have Pancha Mahabhutas, then you have Pancha Pranas, and so and so. Then you have Manaha, then you have Buddhi. They're all parts to it. Are they together or are they separately the truth? Same problem that we had before between yajnas. No, that doesn't make any sense at all. And how can parts be real? And also another thing, Sukshma Sharira disappears in deep sleep. There is no Sukshma Sharira. At least your awareness is not there. Prana is still working, but your mind is not working, Ahankara is not working, you are no longer a jiva. What about that? Already we proved to you that that is not the truth. Forget about death and so on and so forth, because the death is also a deep sleep. It's sort of like a severe deep sleep. Because the only thing that happens in death, which doesn't happen in sleep, is that the body has to be a newly taken body. The current body cannot service you. But other than that, deep sleep and death are identical. Atma is still there, and Sukshma Sharira is suspended. Just like in the night also, the Sukshma Sharira is just suspended. It will be taken up again during the morning. So similarly, the Sukshma Sharira is taken up again in the new body. But that's not the truth, because it comes and goes. And at one day, Sukshma Sharira will no longer be needed once we have an understanding of the Atma. So we said, no, that's not the case. Then, the Sthula Sharira, very obvious that this is not, that cannot be there. There's not much discussion about it. The argument that they give, this is interesting, the argument that they give is that just thinking about things doesn't really make you happy. It's experiencing it by eating. So for example, thinking about music, you can enjoy music to a point, which is Sukshma Sharira. But when you actually listen to music, to some concert, that's what gives you fun. So this is very much like Bhokta. No, it doesn't. The body also dies, and it doesn't. Then, Murta iti Murta Vidaha. So here there is a huge discussion by Swami Maheshananji, and he says this is something which is very interesting but very prevalent. People believe that a particular vigraha has the ability to give you moksha. And people believe that a particular form of the devata alone is important. You can do some prana pratishtha and so on and so forth, that may be necessary. But this murti, and this is very prevalent in India. They'll say, have you gone to that particular murti? If you pray to that murti, that is the one which has been proven to give you moksha. And there are various murtis. Everybody has a contention. No, my murti is better than your murti. There we have. So this is where we have Vishwanath, Kala Bhairava, Kashi, and then the Muslims believe Chishti Sahib. These are all particular, and Chishti Sahib is not a murti, but it's actually a burial ground of some very wise people. So they say that if you pray there, then you get moksha. No. Then comes Amurtaha. So in Amurtaha, there are two views taken. One is the Shunyavadis of the Buddhas. The other one is the Arya Samaj in Hinduism. Both are analyzed. Amurta says the nature of God does not have a form, which is true. Atma does not have a form. But here, the way it is treated is different than what is Vedantic view. In the case of Shunyavadis of Buddhas, they feel nothingness is the ultimate, which is very opposite to what Vedanta says. Vedanta says that Atma is everything, it is present. Even now, as we saw in the meditation, you are the very presence that is enlivening your sense organs. So it is not the absence. But the Buddhists say that one form of Buddhism, not all of them, one form of Buddhism says Shunyavadi means that absolute zeroness is moksha. Anytime you have any presence, that creates a problem. You have a complete absence. Anyway, lots of arguments against it, and we won't go into that. The second was very interesting, which is Arya Samaj, and that really piqued my interest because this is how I was brought up. And even now, you have a lot of Arya Samajis. All of people from Punjab and so on were Arya Samajis. So this was started by the original Swami Dayananda Saraswati, the first one. And so my household, my grandfather, they were all Arya Samadhis. So that's why there is no murtis, no vigraha. It is all amurtaha. And Arya Samaj was, it was really not it was not the pure Hinduism. It had taken the criticism of Muslims, Islam, and accepted some parts of that. So they felt that really speaking, God has to be formless. Just like Muslims also believe that God has to be formless. You cannot just have murtis and pray to Vishnu and all these Dakshinamurti and so on. That you're making them into a small murti. It really should be, you should be just praying to formlessness. But there is no clear idea about the Atma which is given in our Advaita Sampradaya. Not there. It is a belief system which partially looks into Vedas, partially looks into yajnas, and if you ask an Arya Samaji, they will say that this life I am not going to achieve it, I have to go to some other place. This is not Vedanta. It is not praptasya praptihi, it is apraptasya praptihi. So even though they are talking about the amurtaha, there is no murti and so on, it is not sanatana dharma. It's very different from it. So this is what is and Swami Maheshananji discusses all this. But really speaking, in the case of Swami Dayananda Saraswati, who started Arya Samaj, this was not a religious movement, it was a social movement. Because at the very highest levels, there was conversions done on the basis that this is stupidity for you to be praying to murtis. You should really pray to Ishvara who is everywhere. And that appealed to a lot of people. And so you just said, yeah, this is the case. So Swami Dayananda said, if that is the case, we will adopt their policies and apply it to Hinduism. Just like, this, I always go back to it. I think I was giving you this, that what it was in our family, there was this woman who was asked by her parents. She wanted to become a Christian. So her parents sent it to me. And the more I talked to her, I realized, here's what's happening. Why she's so attracted to Christianity. I think I was telling you this the other day. That you go to a church and it really gives you a peace of mind. The steeples are very long, very high, and it's very cool, and there is this church music that is going on, and you feel so good. And what you feel about is yourself. You're no longer distracted by other things, so you feel good. It is you. But you feel it is God now doing this. Whereas you go to a temple, it is chaos. People are throwing banana leaves, this, that, or the other. It's dirty, it's crowded. And for believers, this is fun. This is so wonderful. But you bring a brand new person to a temple, they'll say, what is this? So she became a Christian because of that. Anyway, so this is exactly what happens. It becomes a social movement more than a spiritual movement. So that's how the Amurta Vidaha. And I think I'll stop there. Um, yeah, it's time anyway. And I think that there's 2 or 3 more to go that we'll finish this topic. But again, the idea is that belief systems can attract people into things that really ultimately do not make sense. But for the time being, it is attractive to people. So they just believe in it. So we have to say that don't. Believe in yourself. Believe in the truth about yourself for reasons that should be clear to you. That which is praptasya prapti, not to apraptasya prapti. So this is how the discussion of the karika goes. Om swasti prajabhyav paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha go brahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam loka samastha sukhinos bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyaha prithvi sasya shalini deshoyam shobharahitah brahmana santu nirbhayaः sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayah sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dukkhabhag bhavet asato ma satgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityo ma amritangamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hare Om. I still have some flyers for Swamiji's visit in case there are still some places that you may want to. Very close by now, not much time, but if you want to do that. And then briefly I want to talk about the new Gita class that I'm thinking of. And I think I sent, if you came late, please come and take a copy of that. So the genesis of that is that I find that the Gita class has less number of people than originally. There's probably about, I think about 15 to 20 people come, and some people do listen to it. It was much less than what it used to be. So I'm thinking what I would do is I'm finishing the 6th chapter today, but in the next one, after consultations with all the people in the class, we've decided I'm going to make a change in the format. And the format will be to introduce some new people to Bhagavad Gita and yet not be too simple enough for the continuing class. That's the challenge. So the way I'm going to do that is to have a 16-week course. And the first few classes will be just talking about what is the basis of Hinduism. And I prepared some material for it, and I'll polish it in the next couple of weeks or so, and then I'll present that as a paper for people to. And so we will just use the paper to look at the core tenets of Hinduism. Okay, and it'll be useful, and I'll give it to you as well when I'm finished with it. And so sometimes, with your friends ask, what is Hinduism? Then you should be able to present that. So I'll take a couple of classes just to go over that. As an example, Ramanand Patel thought that he can now approach some of the yoga people into coming to this kind of a class because they've been asking. And so this will be a good start with that. Then the next 2 or 3 classes, maybe three or four classes, 3 classes, I will talk about Bhagavad Gita as a representation of Hinduism and a representation of Vedanta, and briefly summarize the first 6 chapters that we have already gone through. So that will take about three classes. Then I'm just going to take the 7th chapter, which is a new chapter, which haven't we done yet, and cover that in 10 classes, and probably use the same concept as Swami Viditatmananda does, which means don't go into every verse, but take the concepts of it. And then the last class, I will tell people that I would ask people for an in-class quiz, an hour and a half, so I'll give them maybe 20 questions, and I would evaluate their answers, give them feedback, so that they can also use that to form some kind of an essay, which will really solidify their information, study of the 7th chapter of the Gita. And then we are done with the 7th chapter. And let me see how it goes. And then we will decide to either go on to the 8th chapter or change the text, or perhaps stop it. We'll see how that goes. So anyway, so this is what
Are you going to send the email about this one?
Yes, of course, it's going to go over to everybody.
Because then, a lot of new people will
Yes,
have that.
absolutely. And the reason I also decided is that when Swamiji is here, we will have these,
Correct.
so we will do that. So anyway, that's the thinking.
Can I make an announcement?
Yeah, of course.
Do you want to see from?
We've already done that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we've done that.
I'm sorry. So on Monday afternoon, could I please get some help, as much help as we can get, between 12 and 1:30? We need to set out the chairs and set up the bookstore and put up the banner and stuff like that. So if anybody is available, 12 to 1:30. I'm using my mind. At the J
Yeah, I
Temple.
know.
So whoever can please come for a little bit also.
I know Ashish had
It will be
already
helpful.
said yes.
Yes.
Krishna and
Krishna said that.
Yeah,
Krishna also.
Raji will come. Okay.
Yeah.
So whoever can, please step in.
Probably won't even take that long. I would say probably less than an hour.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we hope so. But the more
I mean,
people we
now
have, the
it's
faster
yeah,
it
so
will
that
be.
way
Yeah.
faster we would be done.
Yeah.
Because
Thank
1:30
you.
days close the
They will
temple.
close
Okay.
the temple then, yeah.
Okay.
So, all right, thank you.
Do we need all the table, the cloth and everything?
Yes, we have everything.
And the next door, I think it is. Okay.
All right. Very good. See you.
One question on this case.
Yeah.
For the retreat, and I think somebody had said there are people going, you can, for coordination of rights, etc., is there an email that's there? or how do we-
You can email me,
Okay.
and I will see where you live, tell me where you live, and then I'll see who else lives in that area, and perhaps we can write together. Thank you. So Vijay, so after Swamiji, so next week we will not have class, obviously, right?
Next week we'll not have a class.
And then after that is July 4th.
We will also not have a class.
So
2 weeks.
No class for 2
No, wait. On July Saturday, which is what? Saturday is what?
6th. I think
7th, July 4th, oh, 6th.
Sixth.
Maybe the 6th.
So on 6th, we'll have a single class, just like we did for, and
Memorial
I'll
Day.
pick up a topic.
Okay.
And so whoever can come